organization that is affiliated with 170 children's hospitals in the United States and Canada. It helps raise money to help 17 million children. I'm sure many of you are affiliated with a children's mental hospital. And each year they choose a champion to represent their state at the national celebration, in which I traveled to Washington, D.C. and Orlando this past March. Before I had to travel, my hospital and a local news station had to make a video, it's about 5 minutes long, that portrayed my situation and I have been able to still live my life and do everything that I want to do. So Nick is going to show you the video now. As it said in the video, I have my positive attitude, and that's just because of the excellent support, because whenever I'm feeling down or anything, I can go online and there's always somebody there. I talk to Tom about every day, Tom Exler online every day. And I've always thought of being sick as being able to grow as a person, and I always try to make every hospital visit comfortable. I have a box of tons and tons of posters and pictures that I go and I decorate my room. And I made friends at the hospital with the staff and with other kids, and just volunteering, it's really helpful in the healing process. And I've always thought that a smile always helps heal, because just no matter how sad you are, a smile always cheers you up, no matter who it's from. I've done a lot as champion. I've met with state legislators. I participated in the telethon. I was there from 7:45 until 6:30 at night all day, and it was very crazy. I got to ride in a $650,000 Ferrari at the end of June. That was awesome. It was nice. I've spoken at Filene's. I participated in a photo shoot. I rode on a motorcycle in the pouring rain. It was very cold, but it was fun. And in April, I was asked to speak in Boston as the keynote speaker for a major sponsor of Children's Miracle Network. It was the Sons of the American Legion, and the national commander was from the Boston area. And he invited me to speak, and I spoke in front of 300 people, and it was really scary. But I was able to do it, and my parents were there. They got to go with me. I was on the cover of the annual report, and if anyone wants to see it, I have many copies. I went to a dance marathon. It was 12 hours long at UConn, and that was awesome. I was in USA Today before the national telethon. And the trip that I took was incredible. The kids that I met there were absolutely amazing, and they touched my life in ways that I will never forget. There was an 18-year-old with spina bifida, and I just spent a week with him 2 weeks ago because he was in Connecticut participating in the wheelchair junior national games, and it was absolutely incredible. See kids without legs throwing the javelin or the discus or the shot put, it just was absolutely amazing. And then there was Alicia, who's 7 years old, and she has a birth defect that affects her stature. And every morning we were on the same bus, and she would always come up to me and give me the biggest hug. And she told me every day that I was her best friend in the whole world. And just having this little girl who is absolutely adorable and has fought through many, many surgeries, have her tell me that I was her best friend, it was just, my heart melted. She was just incredible. And then there was CJ, who's 17 years old, and she's had eye cancer 5 times. She's completely blind. She's lost half of the muscles in her face, and she is incredible. She's a musician. She's an artist. She's 3rd in her class, and she perseveres through everything, and that's just amazing. She really, we keep in touch. She emails me every couple weeks, and it's just, these kids are amazing, just like all of you. You guys have really changed my life. Just having you always there to talk to, no matter what, the letters, the emails, talking online for 2 hours at a time. The phone calls, it's just really, really comforting. And this whole experience, it really has affected me, not only emotionally, but just, it's really helped me decide what I want to do with my future. As my mom said, I do want to be a psychologist. I do volunteer at the hospital, and that's amazing because some kids come in really scared into the emergency department, and I can just be like, I've been here for 5 years, it's the best place for me to be. And just being able to give back, it's probably one of the best things that I could have ever done. Just choosing to volunteer, it's amazing. Yes, I still am in the hospital, but when I'm in the hospital, I have people come visit me all the time. Staff members from the hospital, they're always there. I get a phone call every day, even if they're not on duty, they call to see how I'm doing just because of everything I do to give back. And I even created my own website to share with others my story and everything that I've been through. And I have, yes, if anybody wants it, I know a lot of you have seen it already, just by signing my Facebook. And that just means a lot because I know that the support is there. So my advice to you is don't be afraid to give back. Get involved at your hospital. Thank them for what they do for you because it's really helpful in the process. Luckily, Tom Exler told me about this wonderful camp that I could go to. And I went to my parents and I said, I really want to go. Can I please go? And they were really shocked because I'm quite a homebody, and but they knew that it would be a great experience for me. So I packed my bags and I went to San Jose. And the first few days were a little rough for me. I cried a lot because I was homesick. But once I realized the wonderful opportunity I've been able to participate in, it astounded me. I was still a little shy, but by the end of the week I was bawling because I had to go home and I couldn't stay there anymore. And as the years progressed, I became a lot more outgoing, and I really, really looked forward all year long to being able to come here. I think my first year, I had recently been diagnosed. I'd been sick for quite a while, but I wasn't diagnosed until December of that year, my first year before I came. And I didn't know what to think about it. I was really lucky. I felt blessed to finally have a diagnosis because for years it had been, we don't know what she has, it may be this, it may be that, and I felt really lost without a diagnosis. Then it finally came about that they diagnosed me with Crohn's disease. So I went to camp and I learned that my disease was not going to hinder me from anything that I wanted to do. And though I was quite shy, I decided that it was time for me to be true to myself and show other people all the wonderful things you could do despite the adversities you have faced. So I went back to school and I was told my guidance counselor advised me to quit school and start over the next year as a junior, and there was no way I was going to let my twin sister graduate before me. So I went through school. I was in every club imaginable on campus. I was junior class president, junior class princess. I was in ASB. I did all kinds of things. And then I saw an ad in the newspaper to run for Miss Tulare, which is the city that I'm from. And I too had always watched, Miss America and those pageants and thought, wow, those girls are so awesome. They have so much to share with the world. And I didn't think I'd ever want to get up there on stage and present myself in front of people, but I decided that being that I really enjoyed community service, that I would go out and do it. I was probably the shyest girl there, but the night came along of the pageant, and the same day
was asked not to be on the cheerleading squad for the next year because I had been too sick the year before. And though I never missed anything and I thought it was great, I just think they didn't want to deal with it. So I was devastated about that. But I realized, well, this is something I really want to do, and I'm going to show them that I can do whatever comes my way, and I'm not going to let people tell me I can't. So that night, I guess I went out there and shined, and much to my surprise, I won the title of Miss Tulare City. I think it took forever for it to really hit me. Like I was so astonished that they would pick me, but it was a really, really touching and great experience, and it got me, it does make sense, gave me the opportunity to go out there and show people what I could do. And I guess a lot of people didn't realize that I was sick, and somehow the newspaper found out and put this front page article that said, Miss Tulare survives Crohn's disease, or something like that. And so I went to the grocery store, and I didn't know that it was in there, and people were asking questions, and it was crazy. But it came out to my city that I did have Crohn's disease, which I thought was great, because I think that it's not something that's known very much about, and I really wanted to get the word out there, but I didn't expect to be on the front page of the newspaper in that capacity. So I went along and finished high school, and despite like hospital visitations and all those types of things, and I graduated. I missed a few months of school, but I still graduated with a 3.96 in high school. Yeah. Which was really great, because with all my medical bills and everything, I didn't think I was going to be able to go to university right away. And that was another great thing about the pageants I've done, is they enable me to do that. But now I'm in college, and my biggest fear when I went to college was, what am I going to do in the dorms? I have to share a community bathroom with all these people, and what are they going to think of me? And I was so scared. And so on my application for the dorms, they asked, is there anything we can do to accommodate you? And I explained that I had Crohn's disease, and they actually called me, and it wasn't something I expected, but they were real concerned about complying with the Americans with Disabilities Act, and they gave me a private room with my own bathroom. And that worked out for the first 2 years. It made me more able to accept the transition from home to college. But this year I've decided I'm not going to let that hinder me as well, and I'm moving into my sorority house, which has a community bathroom, and we'll see how that goes. But I am currently the vice president, and they want me to be president next year. You have to live in the house to be president. So I'm going to put my embarrassment and shame aside and go ahead and go in there and do my thing and not let people hinder me from wanting to do that. I just really want to emphasize the difference that this camp has made in my life. I was a shy, insecure little girl, and not that I'm still not that way to a certain degree. It was amazing. I don't know. I never thought that I could find people that would love me so much. Bonds. And when I live in a small town, when I was diagnosed, I didn't know anybody with the same or similar things, and I just thought I was some weirdo or something, because the technicians at the hospital would say, oh my God, Crohn's disease, that's so terrible, but they would never explain it to me, or they made it sound like it was a death sentence rather than some sort of, just a thing I'm going to have to deal with. And so coming here really, really changed my life. And I realized that I had the potential to aspire to all my dreams and hopes, and not to let anything bring me down or push me back. And I want all of you to realize that. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do what you want to do. Or situations. Who cares? Don't let what people think push you down, and know that all these people here are behind you 100%, and they're pushing for you. And you can email me anytime if you have questions, or call me, or I'm here 24 hours a day as well, and I think it's a really great thing for all of you to be here, and I know you have lots of success stories, and I just really want to emphasize that don't let whatever you face hinder you from the things that you want to accomplish, because we're all great people, and we don't have to let any little adversity bring us down.
And introduce Abby Ryan.
Well, first I want to say thank you, Cheryl. That was an awesome story, and it was a delight. Thank you. Some of you know who I am. Some of you don't know who I am, but I hope to get to know each and every one of you. Like Joanne said, I was a camper here for 5 years, and it completely changed my life, just like it changed Cheryl's, and I'm sure it changed many lives here. I have always been kind of outgoing, but when my first year I came, I was pretty shy. I didn't really get out there. I kind of stayed a little introverted. As the years went on, I made some great friends and just kind of came out of my shell, Steve. And so it has completely changed my life. I never wanted to talk about my disease. I never wanted to talk about what has happened to me. And especially in the last 2 years, I've really opened up, and there's some things that have happened in my life that I'd love to share with you. So first off, I'll give you a little bit about my medical history, because some of you know and some of you don't know. When I was 14 months old, I was diagnosed with colitis, and I had my first major surgery, the removal of my large intestine, at 3.5 years age. So I battled with a J pouch that never really worked, and I always had chronic pouchitis, and it was just horrible. Many of you know how that is. So finally it got to the point where it was necessary for my life in order to have an ileostomy. So I had ileostomy surgery in 1994 when I was 11 years old, and I've had it ever since. It's permanent. It's never going away. It's sticking around. So I really, when I first got it, I was 11 years old, and I really didn't know what to think about it. So I was very scared of some things, and I didn't think I would be able to do all the things that I've actually done in my life. I remember watching TV one day, watching the Miss America pageant, and kind of seeing all these girls glide along the stage and see what they're made of in their swimsuits and in their evening gowns. And I said to my mom, I said, I'd love to do that, but I'm never going to be able to do that because I have an ileostomy. Never. So as the years went on, that kind of changed a little bit for me. I've always been big into music, and I love singing. Singing is my passion. So I sang at a school concert. I sang a song called Wishing You Were Somewhere Here Again from the Phantom of the Opera. And a lady approached me afterwards, and she said, oh my God, that's awesome. So I want to know, do you want to join this pageant, the Miss Lacrosse Oktoberfest pageant, which is, Lacrosse is my hometown, and we have a huge festival, Oktoberfest, every single year. So it's kind of like 2 titles from the same one. So I kind of shrugged her off. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just send me the information, because I want to go talk to my parents. I didn't want to talk to this lady. I had no idea who she was. So the information came last year, July, about this time. I was reading over all the information, and it's like there's 4 competitions, an interview process, which you have to talk to a panel of 5 judges about anything and everything in your life. Then you have to have an evening gown, you have to have a talent, and you have to wear your swimsuit up on stage for a fitness portion. And I just looked at my dad and I said, I'm not doing this. This is not what I'm going to do. So he just said, why don't you just do it, just to try it. Just try it once in your life. So I did. And I really got into it, and I was very scared. I told one of the ladies at the pageant, I said, I have an ileostomy. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this swimsuit. it's gonna be really hard for me in order to wear a swimsuit up in front of like 1,000 people with an ileostomy. I don't think I can do this. So she kind of took me under her wing and she said, you know what, this is awesome. And with the pageant, what you have to have is you have to have a platform, which is basically an issue that you feel strongly about. And since I've lived with colitis my whole life, I chose that as my platform. So my platform was a future without Crohn's and colitis. And when I got up on stage in that swimsuit, it was a different experience for me. It was a one piece, but I still felt like I was just open to the audience and I had no security. So afterwards, I don't know if anybody of you know what happened afterwards. I actually ended up winning the pageant and becoming Miss Lacrosse Oktoberfest. And I never thought that would ever happen to anybody who has been through something like I have, or has had an ostomy before. So it was just amazing. And I actually brought something along to show everybody. So this is what I won. I won this along with many other things. I won a crown. I won scholarship money. I didn't have to pay for my first year of college. I won traveling. I got to go to Winnipeg, Canada, St. Paul, Minnesota. I get to go to Minneapolis, Minnesota for different festivals. As Miss Lacrosse Oktoberfest, I represent lacrosse and Oktoberfest in over 21 parades this summer. And I work on my platform all year round, no matter what I'm doing. So the last thing I earned with this crown was confidence. So when the time rolls around for June to come, it's always time for the Miss Wisconsin pageant. And young ladies across Wisconsin, as well as every other state, such as, California, because the person who wins their state level gets to go on to Miss America. So June rolled around for that time for me, and that was a lot of preparation. And when that rolled around, again came the swimsuit portion. And I was like, oh no, this sucks. But as the year had progressed, I had gotten that confidence from the crown. So it wasn't really that hard. We got into what's called a pageant store, a store specifically designed for people going to pageants. And so I'm trying out on all these one pieces, just, oh, this one's cute, this one's kind of cute, I think I want to wear this one. My pageant director, who knew about my situation, she throws this two-piece at me, and she goes, try this on, just try it on for giggles. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to try this on, this is too small, this is too teeny, it's never going to work, ever. So I tried it on, and I came out, and the lady working at the store had no idea, and she just threw her arms up, and she's like, this is fabulous, you look so wonderful in this, you have to wear it. So that was a journey in itself, because it was, number one, a two-piece, number two, bright pink. so it was really trying, and I really had to get that confidence back in order to go up on stage. This is a bigger pageant. This is like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people in an auditorium staring at you, just watching your body, So when the time rolled around, we had everything situated, everything great. It was going wonderful. There was 2 nights of preliminary competition, and the day before the preliminary competitions, I went into an interview with the judges. At the local level, I didn't say anything about how I had a disease and I had an ostomy or anything. At the state level, I decided, it's on my side. I've had this life experience that many people have never, ever had to go through anything like this in their lives. And that just gives all of us a step ahead, because we've experienced something and we appreciate life so much more. So I went in there and I told the judges everything. They had lots of questions just because not many people know much about what we have to deal with every single day of our lives. So I think they were very impressed. And the reason I know that is because I made the top 10 contestants on the Saturday night competition out of 25 girls. So I felt very proud of myself. I competed to the best of my ability, and I didn't make the top 5, but near the end of the pageant, there was an award that was given out to somebody who performed community service within their city and worked very hard for their platform, and I received that award. And it was even though making the top 10 is wonderful, the Community Service Award touched my heart, and that was the thing that really set off the whole pageant business. Is you're really in it for your platform, and you do what you do for your platform. And I think that everybody can say that they've had to deal with bad days, they've had to deal with good days, you know, and you really get through life no matter what you do. And, you know, it's a struggle every single day, but you can do stuff like this. It's not like you have to sit on the sidelines. You can do whatever you want to do. Look at me. I was 11 years old. I said I will never be able to go up on stage in a swimsuit and be in a pageant. That's never going to happen, ever. And I did it. So there's nothing you can't do. And I hope that none of you have any restrictions. I hope every single one of you do what you want to do in your life, because you can, and it's not even a question. So I leave you with that, and thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here.